Japan's largest defense budget since World War II shocked the nation and the world. The Prime Minister called it a historic turning point, raising questions about Japan's pacifist future. For many, this was more than a budget. It signaled a dramatic new chapter for Japan. After World War II, Japan faced devastation and loss. Under American occupation, the nation rebuilt and adopted a new constitution, renouncing war as a sovereign right. For decades, Japan became a symbol of peace, maintaining only a modest self-defense force. But in the 21st century, new threats challenged this pacifist path. At the core of Japan's pacifist identity is Article 9 of its constitution. This short but powerful section states that the Japanese people forever renounce war as a sovereign right of the nation. It goes further, declaring that land, sea, and air forces, as well as other war potential, will never be maintained. For many Japanese, Article 9 is a moral compass, a guiding star. Despite this strong language, the realities of world politics quickly came into play. During the Cold War, the United States pressured Japan to build up forces for self-defense, especially as tensions with the Soviet Union grew. Japan created the self-defense forces, but always insisted that their mission was strictly defensive. Over time, debates grew louder. Some leaders argued that Article 9 should be revised or reinterpreted to meet modern threats. Others saw even small changes as a dangerous step away from peace. The Japanese Supreme Court and lawmakers constantly faced hard questions about what self-defense really meant. Yet for decades, Japan's military remained limited, and the country proudly wore the label of pacifist. But the pressure to change was beginning to mount. In recent years, Japan has found itself in a much more dangerous neighborhood. North Korea's missile launches have become almost routine. In 2022 alone, dozens of North Korean missiles flew close to Japanese territory, causing alarm and repeated emergency drills. The threat is not just hypothetical. Some missiles have even landed in Japan's exclusive economic zone. China's rapid military buildup is another concern. Chinese naval ships and fighter jets are seen more frequently near Japan's southwestern islands. The dispute over the Senkaku Islands, claimed by both Japan and China, is a constant source of tension. Meanwhile, Russia's military activities in the region have increased since the Ukraine war. Cyber attacks and threats from terrorism add new layers of complexity. Japanese officials warn that the country must be ready for new forms of warfare. The mood in Tokyo has changed. Where once there was confidence in distance and diplomacy, now there is anxiety about proximity and technology. Faced with this environment, the government argues that Japan's old security policies are no longer enough. Leaders say that a bigger, more modern military is now a necessity, not a choice. The 2026 defense budget is nothing short of historic. Japan announced a plan to spend 2% of its GDP on defense by 2027, doubling its previous target. This will mean an annual defense budget of nearly $80 billion, making Japan the world's third largest military spender after the United States and China. The new funds will pay for a wide range of upgrades. There will be new missile defense systems, advanced fighter jets, and cyber warfare units. Japan aims to buy long-range missiles that could reach enemy bases, something that would have been unthinkable just a decade ago. Shipbuilding and satellite programs will also get a boost. This budget is not a one-time spike. It represents a 5-year plan to transform the self-defense forces into a modern, high-tech force. The goal is not just to defend Japan's own islands, but to help allies and deter threats far from home. For many observers, these numbers tell a story. Japan is preparing for a very different future, one where military strength is as important as diplomacy. The Japanese government has laid out its reasons with unusual clarity. Officials say the world around Japan is, well, rapidly changing. They cite North Korea's growing arsenal, China's assertiveness, and Russia's unpredictability as top concerns. In official statements, leaders stress that the new budget is about deterrence, convincing potential enemies that attacking Japan would be too costly. Prime Minister and defense leaders argue that Japan cannot always depend on the United States. While the US-Japan alliance remains strong, American priorities may shift. As Washington focuses on other parts of the world, Tokyo feels it must stand on its own feet. They also highlight Japan's responsibility to its own people. The government says that failing to adapt could put Japanese lives at risk. Advanced technology, missile shields, and stronger Navy ships are presented as tools of peace, not aggression. Above all, officials repeat a familiar promise: Japan will remain defensive. They insist that the new budget is not about becoming a military power, but about making sure that the horrors of the past are never repeated. The government's plan has sparked fierce debate across Japan. Some citizens support the move, convinced that threats from North Korea and China are real and urgent. They see the budget as a necessary response to a dangerous world. "We can't rely on hope alone," said one Tokyo resident in a recent survey. But others are deeply uneasy. Protests have erupted in major cities. Activists warn that increasing military spending could erode the country's peaceful identity. Many remember the suffering of World War II and fear that even defensive weapons could draw Japan into new conflicts. Polls show a nation divided. Some surveys find a slim majority in favor of the changes, but support is often lukewarm. Young people are especially skeptical, questioning whether more missiles truly mean more security. For older generations, Article 9 remains sacred, and any change feels like a betrayal. In Parliament, opposition parties have promised to keep fighting. They demand more debate and guarantees that Japan's pacifist principles will not be lost in the rush toward rearmament. International responses have ranged from cautious welcome to deep suspicion. The United States, Japan's closest ally, has publicly praised the budget increase. American officials say that a stronger Japanese military will help keep the region stable. Australia and some European partners have also voiced support. But in Beijing and Pyongyang, the mood is very different. Chinese officials accuse Japan of militarization and warn that such moves could raise tensions. North Korea has threatened countermeasures, calling the budget a direct provocation. Russia, too, has criticized Japan, linking the decision to global instability. South Korea's reaction is mixed. While some leaders quietly welcome a stronger Japan in the face of shared threats, there are also calls for transparency and restraint. Memories of Japan's wartime actions remain powerful in the region, adding layers of mistrust. The international debate reflects how much Japan's choices matter, not just for itself, but for all of East Asia and even the wider world. The question at the heart of the debate is deceptively simple. Is Japan leaving pacifism behind? The answer is complicated. On one hand, the new budget and policies mark a dramatic break from past limits. Japan is now preparing for threats beyond its borders, and the self-defense forces are gaining new powers and equipment. Yet, official language still stresses defense only. The government insists that Japan will never launch a war of aggression. Legal and cultural barriers to full militarization remain strong, and Article 9 is still on the books. Critics argue that even defensive upgrades can blur the lines and create security dilemmas with neighbors. There is also the question of future steps. Some leaders want to revise Article 9 outright, making Japan a normal military power. Others insist that the spirit of pacifism should remain central. How Japan balances these pressures will define its future. For now, Japan walks a tightrope, seeking security in a dangerous world without abandoning the ideals that shaped its modern identity. Japan's new defense budget is more than just numbers. It is a crossroads moment, a test of how much the country is willing to change in the face of new dangers. For some, it is a necessary evolution. For others, a risky departure from a hard-won peace. The challenges ahead are enormous. Japan must reassure its own citizens, calm regional fears, and keep faith with the pacifist ideals that have served it well for decades. At the same time, it must ensure that its new policies actually increase security, not provoke new crises. Opportunities also exist. A stronger Japan could play a bigger role in regional stability, support allies, and contribute more to global peacekeeping. But these benefits will depend on careful leadership and open debate. Is Japan done with pacifism? Not yet. But the path ahead is uncertain, and the choices made today will echo for generations to come.